The night he jumped into that river to save a stranger's child, no one knew the man beneath the uniform was once America's most wanted scientist. It was 2:37 a.m. when the storm broke over Crestwood Private School. The old security guard, Earl Thompson, sat in his dim booth with a thermos of black coffee and a photo of a little girl tucked in his shirt pocket. His face was lined with years of silence, eyes heavy with stories no one ever asked him to tell. Every night he walked the same perimeter, flashlight in hand, raincoat slung across his shoulder, humming something soft. Maybe jazz, maybe a hymn. The teachers called him Mr. Earl. The kids called him the Gate Ghost. He never corrected them. The new head teacher, Mrs. Collins, had once asked, "Earl, what did you do before this job?" He smiled, a sad, practiced smile. "Ma'am, I kept people safe." Still do. That night, lightning cracked over the rooftops. Across the main road, a small sedan lost control, spinning off the curb and into the riverbank behind the school. Earl didn't hesitate. He dropped his flashlight and sprinted through the rain, his old knees groaning, his breath tearing at his lungs. Inside the sinking car, a mother screamed, clutching a tiny boy no older than 6. Without a word, Earl smashed the window with his elbow, blood running down his arm. He pulled the boy first, then the woman. The water rose fast, but somehow the old man didn't stop until they were both on land, shaking, alive. The mother sobbed, holding her boy. "You saved my child. Oh, my God, you—" Earl just nodded, soaked to the bone. "Ma'am, just get him warm." That's what matters. By the time the ambulance came, Earl was gone, vanished back into the storm. The next morning, social media exploded. Old school guard rescues family from river. Local TV cameras swarmed the Crestwood gates. The principal tried to get Earl to speak, but he refused. "I ain't looking for attention," he said quietly. "I just did what anyone should." But someone was paying attention, a detective watching the footage online. He froze the video, zoomed in on Earl's face. No way, that's not possible. At the precinct, Detective Monroe ran a facial recognition scan. Match found. Dr. Earl Benjamin Thompson, former NASA engineer, missing since 1998. He stared at the file. Wanted for federal theft? Classified materials? The image of the same man, 27 years younger, stared back at him. Sharp suit, eyes full of brilliance and guilt. Monroe didn't tell anyone yet. He needed to know the truth. Meanwhile, at Crestwood, teachers noticed something odd. Earl never used his right hand much, only his left. And when a student showed him a broken drone in class, Earl fixed it in 30 seconds flat, explaining air resistance, thrust, and gyroscope balance like a man who'd lived among machines. The kid's jaw dropped. "Mr. Earl, how you know all that?" He chuckled. "Old habit, son." I used to work around rockets. 2 days later, Detective Monroe showed up at the school gate. He flashed his badge. "I'm looking for Earl Thompson." The students whispered. Teachers froze. Earl stepped out of the booth, his posture calm, but his eyes knew. He'd been found. "Mr. Thompson," Monroe said, "I think you and I need to talk." They sat in the break room. Rain pattered outside. Monroe placed a faded photo on the table, a younger Earl beside a NASA rocket. "You were one of the top propulsion engineers in '98, Monroe said quietly. "Then you disappeared. They said you stole classified data." Earl didn't flinch. He just looked at the floor. "I didn't steal anything," he said. "I stopped them." Earl's voice shook. He told the detective everything. In 1998, he was lead engineer on a propulsion test that could revolutionize fuel efficiency. But he discovered it was being secretly sold to a private weapons company overseas. When he tried to expose it, they framed him, destroyed his career, his name, his family. His wife left. His daughter was taken under witness protection. I lost everything, he said, so I vanished. Changed my name, took jobs where no one asked who I was. Monroe sat back, stunned. And you never tried to clear your name? Earl smiled faintly. Clearing a name don't fix a soul. Days later, the little boy he saved came to the school, holding a card and a single red balloon. Mom said, "You're my hero," he whispered shyly. Earl knelt down. "I'm no hero, son. Just someone who saw a kid worth saving." The child smiled. "Mom says heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear old jackets. Teachers watched from afar, some teary-eyed." For the first time, Earl wasn't invisible. That evening, as the sun sank, 2 black SUVs rolled up to the school. Federal agents stepped out. "Earl Thompson, you're under arrest for violation of Federal Secrecy Act." The kids screamed. Teachers protested. The mother of the rescued boy tried to stop them. "He saved my child. You can't—" Earl raised a hand. "Calm. It's okay. Let it be." As he was handcuffed, Monroe met his eyes. "Sir, I'm sorry." Earl smiled faintly. "Don't be. Maybe truth takes time." The story went national. Number sign, "Justice for Earl," trended across America. Journalists dug up the old NASA case and found buried memos proving Earl's innocence. He was released 2 months later. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed him. "Mr. Thompson, how does it feel to be free?" He looked up at the sky, rain just beginning to fall. "I never stopped being free," he said softly. "I just stopped being seen." A year later, Earl stood again at the Crestwood Gate, not as a guard, but as the school's new science mentor. Kids ran to him with papers, robots, and questions about stars. He looked at them, faces of every color, background, and dream. "That's the thing about truth," he told them. "It don't die in the dark. It just waits for light." As the bell rang and laughter filled the air, the same little boy ran up and hugged him tight. Earl smiled, eyes glistening. Fade out. The man who once hid from the world had finally found his place in it. Sometimes the people we overlook carry the heaviest truths. Judging by status blinds us, but compassion reveals everything.